Hello, hello, hello. My name is Tim Cleaver. Welcome back to my channel. So I just got home from my first live show in about 3 years. My ears are still ringing because the angels were singing. It was fantastic. It was more than I thought it would be. I was pleasantly surprised. You could say I was blown away. Yeah, because of COVID and all the bullshittery that comes and went with that. I haven't been to a show since I think September of 2019. Yeah. And I think the last show that I went to was Sleep. And it just so happens the show I went to tonight features a member of the band Sleep, Al Cisneros. I hope I'm saying that right. On bass player for both bands. It was Ohm and a band called ZOMBI. I'm not sure where ZOMBI's from, but I think Ohm is from, I want to say San Francisco or San Jose. I know California. And yeah, it was just the two bands playing at a pretty small venue here in my city. Tonight, September 20th, 2022. I've been to that venue a few times. I saw the Melvins there. And I think I saw Red Fang there 2 years ago. But yeah, because, shows were canceled and postponed and just put a stop to it, like just slammed on the brakes. That's why I haven't been to a show. I would have loved to go, because I know when the announcements first came on the interwebs, the information superhighway, on that infamous day. I want to say it was like March 13th, 2020, when the world pretty much shut down. I was looking forward to two shows at that time. It was Tool and Tool was one show, and then it was Rage Against the Machine with Run the Jewels. And yeah, that just, I think Rage rescheduled, but Tool just kind of didn't happen yet. But yeah, tonight, sure, there's been like other bands and other shows that I kind of wanted to go to, like local shows or more local shows. Is that the first voice crack of tonight? Local shows. But yeah, none that were like I was so interested in that it like compelled me to go. And I was drawn to the show tonight like a moth to a flame. I had to go. Because yeah, it's one of my favorite subgenres of metal. Like I'm not too familiar with the bands. I've heard a few songs, but there's just something about going to a live show. And yeah, like in case you hadn't figured it out, this is like not really a review of the show, although I will like sprinkle in some observations about the show and whatnot. It's more about like just me talking about whatever I want, because it's my channel, right? And just, yeah, shows are important because anybody can listen to music, especially in this day and age where everyone's attention span is so short. Like, I get the feeling that I'm already like thinking 2 or 3 steps ahead and like what to do. Like, oh, this song's boring already, I'm gonna see what's on fucking Family Guy. Not really, but you know what I mean, right? Like everyone's attention span is so short that we can't concentrate for more than 5 minutes on one song. And that's one of the things that's so great about live music, is that force is like a wrong word. It's like it's not force because you're there willingly. So it's like, I'll just use force because that's the one word, or the word that I can that's closest like what I want to say. But like you're forced to listen to it and not go anywhere. Of course you can go outside, but like why would you leave when you paid money to see these musicians. And yeah, like it made me realize today, if there's one thing I wanted to like take away from that show, is how important it is to play music with other people. That is what I think music is all about. That's like the main thing. Like anybody can play, you know, in their bedroom or whatever, in their practice studio, playing along to Metallica riffs and whatever. Or anybody could record, you know, a solo album by themselves and do all that. That's fine. But I think the real magic of music is collaboration and feeding off other people, and like hopefully if you're doing it right, you're reacting to what they're playing and they're reacting to what you're playing. And it's a conversation. It's a musical conversation. And I definitely saw that tonight with the two bands. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, it's two bands, ZOMBI and OM. ZOMBI, a two-piece. It was a drummer or percussionist and a keyboard player / bass player. He was focusing more on the keyboards, but he did accent a few lines with the bass. Like I remember, he would play like I don't know the song titles, so excuse me, but he played like I think on the low E on the bass guitar, and then a little line on the keyboards, and then back to that bass. That was really cool. I've seen, you know, musicians switch off on either keyboard and bass or keyboard and guitar, like playing keyboard for one song and guitar for another. Like I've seen that live. Of course, they do it, you know, in the studio. Studio is much easier to do it with overdubs and whatnot. But that's the first time I've ever seen someone do that, like within the same bar in a piece of music, basically, like bana on the bass and then doo 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 on the keyboard. So that was pretty sick. Yeah, so that was ZOMBI. I happened to strike up a conversation with the frontman, Steve Moore. Yeah, he made it a point to like say it's Moore, not Morse. Steve Morse is the guitar player from Dixie Dregs, and I think he was out of Deep Purple. I'm sure if he's in Deep Purple still, but yeah, Steve Morse is a guitar player, and Steve Moore is the keyboard player / bass player for ZOMBI. And yeah, I was just like I happened to be outside on the patio, enjoying some fresh air, as you do at rock and roll shows. And he walked out. I recognized him as the person that I just saw in front of my eyes, 10 feet away. And I went over and I said, "Thank you, because you're the first band that I've seen in about 3 years." Introduced myself and I asked, "Is your name Steve, right?" He's like, "Yeah." "Steve Morse?" He's like, "No, Steve Moore." Like, "Oh yeah, nice to meet you. Thank you." I made sure to say thank you because I was thankful. And then yeah, went back inside. And then OM took the stage. I remember I was like talking to my friends. I was like right pretty much front row center for both bands. As you can see by some pictures I took that I might insert here or somewhere else in the video. But yeah, I went inside, and by the time I got done talking with my friends, my gaze came back to the stage, and there was Al Cisneros himself, bass player extraordinaire, and the personification of beard goals and beard envy. That man has a glorious beard. Man. When the guitar tech, or I guess bass tech, carried the bass, he's got like a really sweet signature Rickenbacker bass. It's like kind of I guess looks like maple almost, Oh no, I think it's no, it is maple body with like either white or black pickguard, and then really sweet green inlays. Yeah. When the bass tech carried that on the stage and put it in the case, I just went over to my buddy and like, you get the hearts shooting out of your eyes because you're in love. I swear that happened to me. I was in love with that bass. Rightly so. It's a beautiful bass. Beautiful sounds coming out of that bass too. Yeah, and I guess Zombie played for like half an hour, maybe 45 minutes. And Ohm played for a bit longer. It felt like maybe an hour and 15 minutes or so. Just very hypnotic and just like meditative and very, very spiritual. Yeah, I want to say, I want to make sure I mention this because it was very cool. Like, first time I've seen this at a show, the keyboard player. Yeah, so Ohm, three-piece. Bass player, percussionist, and mainly keyboardist, but they had, like, bells on their feet, which I've never seen live before. Like, I noticed them putting it on their feet before they started playing, and it was like, I don't know exactly what type of bells, like what they're called, but bells on feet, basically, that so they could, like, stomp on the ground, and I guess there's a microphone somewhere, or maybe they're DI, but I don't know how you would DI bells on feet. But yeah, that really added to like the ambiance and just it gave it a real like Middle Eastern vibe to it, which is really cool. And throughout most of their set, like between the songs, they had like a sitar drone just like wow, wow, very, very just like it transforms your physical space into something else. Like I remember at one point, it was just the synths, just a very spacey synth, like holding a drone note. And I closed my eyes, and instantly I was like, I felt like I kept them closed too. I felt like I was standing on a stone slab at Stonehenge in the middle of the night. There's like shooting stars all around, coyotes howling in the distance. And I don't know if it was because of well, I know it was because of what the keyboard player was playing, but I swear I've heard like overtones and notes that they weren't playing. And speaking of overtones, I want to address like just my one criticism of the show, which is not like related to, or it's not like the band's fault, but just during Ohm's set, the bass was clipping a lot. So maybe that's the venue's responsibility to like make sure it doesn't clip, because I was like I said, front row center, and it was just very clipping. So if they turned it down a little bit, or maybe it's just a bad speaker or something, I don't know. But yeah, that's my one criticism of the show, but it doesn't take away from like the amazing experience that the whole thing was. Yeah, it just makes me realize how important music is. Like that's one of the few magical things that I think about this world. Like how you can take up a piece of wood, like a long, thin piece of wood, and hit something with it, and that produces a sound. If you hit it 4 times in a row, bum, 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 at whatever tempo you want, and do that over and over again, sprinkle in other instances, other like your left hand could be answering what your right hand is playing. And then you have another instrument, which is just like a long piece of wood with some wire attached to it that are tuned to a specific pitch. And where you put your finger on the wires, it produces a different sound. And if you happen to play some of those notes in conjunction with what the person on, or the person holding that long thin wooden stick is doing, you could write a song. It's amazing. And those songs and those sounds make us feel something. Happiness, sadness, madness, joy, anxiety, rapture, bliss, whatever. It's amazing. Totally inspiring. It could just be that, like I said, I haven't been to a show in 3 years, but like I don't remember a show that I've been to in the past where I didn't walk away inspired. Like every show I've been to, it's either like as I'm watching them play a riff, I'm like, that's a cool riff. I would play it this way. Not that there's anything wrong with them playing it that way, but I would play it this way. Just like a different note or whatever. And that's my one takeaway. And I remember like, of course, I saw lots of friends there. Some friends that I see pretty regularly, and some friends that I haven't seen in 3 years. So it was awesome to like see them again, and know that they're doing well. Excuse me. And knowing that they're there for the same reasons. Excuse me. I had some post-show traditional McDonald's. As it goes, as you have to do. You have to get McDonald's after a show. And it was also great to not be like bumped into, or like people kind of like brush past you, because that's always been a pet peeve of mine. I know it like comes with the territory at like a rock show, but that didn't happen one time today. Like nobody like bumped into me or brushed past me or like stood in front of me and got in my personal space. Like it doesn't like bother me, I guess, but it is nice to like not have to think about that, which is cool. Yeah. But also, what can I say? Like, if you're watching this, thank you. If there's one thing I can like share with you is like, play music. Play music. Find some friends who play music. Play the music that you like. If you like playing, 20-minute songs just like stuck on this, or not stuck, but like just jamming over the same chord. I was gonna wrap it up, but I'm thinking of one other thing. Ohm, the drummer. I ran into him, or I talked to him after their set. I was outside again, getting some fresh air, and he asked me what Rush song is this, because they were playing "The Garden" by Rush, the last song on their last studio album, Clockwork Angels, I think. And I was wearing a Rush shirt. I changed shirts. This is the shirt that I bought. Depending on how the camera set up, it could say Ohm or it could say Mo. But yeah, rest assured, the band I saw was Ohm, not Mo. But yeah, he asked me, what Rush song is this? I said, it's The Garden by Rush. He's like, you sure? Yeah. Like, well, I trust you. You seem like you're an authority on Rush. You're wearing a Rush shirt and everything. And like, yeah, man. And we talked, and I thanked him for coming to my city. And yeah, like I was enjoying watching him play just as much as watching the bass player Al Cisneros play. He was great, like the drummer, Emil, I think his name is. Yeah, he was more like a percussionist. Very rarely did he play like a straight on like typical rock beat. Tons of call and response, and like lots of little interplays with the toms, like the timbre of his toms, like the way they sounded, just sounded so great. Like again, like they were evoking some Middle Eastern ceremony or something. And yeah, he was throwing in tons of like triplet fills and just crossing his hands over each other, all three of his hands. It was great. um, yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's what I want to say. Like, if you have a chance to play music, go for it. Because as soon as Ohm's set was over, I turned to my friend, who we were in a band together. I played mainly keyboard and guitar. He played drums. And I said, "Man, we got to jam soon. We got to jam soon." And yeah, we set up a jam for this Saturday. So we're gonna jam, and you should too. Not with me, but with your friends. Where you live. Guitar, bass, yeah. If you drums, keyboards, whatever, trumpet, tuba, whatever. If it brings you joy, if it brings you happiness, do it. Do it. Yeah. That about is it. Yeah. Yeah. So thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Have a good night. Peace.